Good afternoon, guys. Hey, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly update video for Wednesday, March the 13th. And today we had another in a very short series of up days. Really big move today, especially after what we've been coming off of the last couple of days. We'll talk about in a second. We had kind of taken out a little prior level back here, went to 28.21. This is in the SPX, and they ended up kind of fizzling out at the end of the day. So not quite sure what to make of it. If you look at the ticks, we never got super high tick readings. In fact, that was, we were probably between 500 and negative 500 most of the day, which is kind of, it's not extreme, put it that way. So, again, this was a little bizarre. As far as the move this morning, I was looking for any real reason for us to be moving up so fast, and I didn't see much. But anyway, let's take a look at the market and see what we've got here. So this is obviously today. If we look, this started last night. Here's the overnight session, and we kind of came down a little bit and then kind of climbed all day. I know there were durable goods and some construction numbers and things came out today, but this started last night. So I'm not quite sure what was driving this. I don't think it was the Brexit deal, but again, not really sure. So let's put this in perspective. Again, you guys know I like to trade the S&P. So let's go out here and look. This will show you how kind of mind-boggling this is. So this is the last high there, and this high was at 28.16, which we took that out, right here. That was 28.18 right here, and then we ended up going 28.21 today. But from 28.16 down to 27.22, that's about 95 points. Not 45, 95 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading sessions. Pretty crazy from top to bottom, almost 100 points in 5 trading sessions. That's just crazy. But what's even crazier is 1, 2, 3 sessions to get it all back and then some. We tacked on an additional 5, 6 points there. So basically 100 points down and 100 points back up in the S&P, which is crazy in itself, but we did it in, a week, basically, 7 days. So crazy. So if we look at this, I've got some voodoo lines here, and it's probably easier to look at this on a little bit longer time frame. And you guys know we've been talking about this quite a few times in the last couple of months now, talking about these same levels. And the same scenario applies here that we've been talking about. If you watched my video last week on last Wednesday, all this is really still the same. So basically, this level that we came down through, that's 28.20, 28.20. We didn't touch it, but we got very, very close there, and almost touched it there. That's 28.16. We did touch it. Or no, excuse me. This is 28.16. 100 points down, 100 points up, and then we actually breached it a little bit. And in fact, this was the first time, we actually cleared 2800 on a closing basis since here, I suppose. October, November. But anyway, this is kind of, we've been looking at this over and over and over. I stared at this till till my eyes are crossed. In last week's video, we were looking at this exact scenario saying, okay, the biggest question is probably not if we bounce, but it's, how long it takes and how deep we go. And as you can see, we came right to that skyline and just ripped straight up. So straight down, straight up. Crazy. Kind of like this. Straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. This has been pretty incredible, right? So, what happens now? And I'm looking at this. Of course, I've been saying that's 2830. Actually, that white line is the snow line. That's going to be another pretty good level of resistance overhead, and there's 2850 right behind that. So the biggest question is, do we fail at this level and come back down, to maybe try again, or do we chop in here before trying to make another one, or do we hit here and just roll over and go back down here? And the answer is, I don't know, right? Nobody knows. I suspect that we don't get through this and we come back. And the reason I say that is the China deal's still not done deal. We do have Fed meeting next week, so that's probably already kind of baked in. The China deal's probably starting to be mostly baked in by this point in the rally. So I guess the main reason that I'm not confident that we're just going to keep ripping higher is the fact that we don't have a major catalyst. We're past earnings season and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what is going to keep driving us unless it's FOMO or something like that. I don't know. This market's been very weird. It's been going higher on some light volume, and some weird things structurally behind it don't really look normal, but we keep going higher. So it's one of those things that we have to stick with the trend we're in, until it changes. And I said this last week. This I showed this exact thing. I said this might be it might be a trend starting down here, but at some point it'll turn back up. I didn't know it'd be this fast. That's very. I thought it might be more like that. But anyway, so the bottom line is we got to be very careful here. Really, in the next couple of days, we've got quad witching on Friday, and anything that can go wrong or crazy, will on a quad witching day. So if we push through this, the 2830 level, 2829, 2830 level, it will probably open the door to more upside. And we at that point we get ready for 2850, etc. So that being said, I'm playing it very. I've got some kind of range bound things. I've got some iron condors. I've got some double diagonals and things like that. But I'm having a really hard time buying it here. So specifically right here, when I think there's a chance that that this doesn't get through and we try again. If we do fail again, I don't see any big catalyst to take us back down. I don't see that happening. I've been saying that for a while. I just don't see this bottom falling out because the Powell puts in and so forth. And the China deal is the carrot that's being dangled out there in front of the market, etc. So, again, very short term, and I'm talking about the next 2 days to Friday. Big decision here. If we go through this, of course, that's going to open it up. I'd say past 2850 and beyond, so we'll probably be something more like that in the next, I'd say, week. After that, I don't know. Obviously, we could say this, and we'd probably be right, but that doesn't really help us make an investment decision, right? These first two kind of do. If we fail at this level, that keeps us focused down here. If we break through, we're going to focus more up here. So anyway, I don't have a specific trade for you guys, just because we're at a point where I just can't force myself to buy this. And I'm really kind of afraid to short it. If we break through this, we're going higher. If we don't, we're going to go lower, but probably not viciously lower. I don't think. Probably grind or drift lower, I suppose. But the one little thing that I do see, if you are watching, keep your eye on Boeing. Probably, Trump grounded all the Boeing planes today and all that kind of stuff, and we still went positive on Boeing. So I think we could be kind of putting a floor in here. I would be a buyer, very selective with a little bit more aggressive money. I'd be a buyer to the upside in Boeing, and Boeing reports earnings around May the 1st, so might not be a bad idea to try to get something started. This is probably overdone on the downside. Let's look at this real quick. These are voodoo lines here. kind of the same thing. There's a 200-day. We've got a big fire line there at 350. So good possibility that around here we start to make our way back up here over the next month and a half out to May, around May 1st, really. So I will be more of a buyer if we come down in that 200-day holes, and that would make me feel better. But we don't know what the cause of the second crash is, if it's going to be the same thing as the first, is the problem easily fixable, and so forth, how much negative spin is going to be on it, and so forth. So you got to be careful, but like I said, I would be a buyer versus a seller here. Selectively and aggressively and carefully. Don't just go all in and buy, long calls, but might want to start nibbling on it, especially if it gets down here to the 200-day and it holds. So hopefully, this gives you some ideas, and I'll try to get a trade for you guys next week on next Wednesday. And if Boeing has come down, we'll look at it again and evaluate that as well. But until then, let me wind it up here. Thanks for the time, and I will talk to you guys at the next update. Thanks.